Yes, my name is DaJohn Dewitt. My pronouns are here, as in I'm here. And my artistic passion is fashion. I love everything fashion. I love what fashion does for the community. I love how I get to express myself fully through fashion as well.
My name is Brenda Leach. I am a body painter, and which means I actually paint on bodies. And I am doing a body acceptance series that I'm really excited about, where the paint is inspired by the story of the person that it's on. So in my art, there are certain aesthetic values that really matter to me, and it's the things that I like when I'm looking at other people's art too. And I feel like I see the world through color. It really matters to me that my colors are chosen, that they go together to do a job, and it almost feels like when you're listening to music and a chord is tuned just right and it sings and it's a beautiful thing. And sometimes if a chord is out of tune, I feel like colors get that way too. So like having colors that are chosen to really work together in the pieces is important to me. And then things like composition, where on a person, I want to make sure that there's some visual flow throughout what I'm painting, and that's what I like, out in the world of looking at art too. And then, having it actually express what it's trying to express, so that everything kind of works together again, like a melody or something, where there's some flow. And the thing that's super important that I'm trying to express is the thing that catches your eye most, and the thing that, if the person is in a photo shoot and having a gesture, that gesture kind of goes with it, so that everything goes together. Those are the first things that I think about with those.
What art is to me is self-love being shared with other people. And the reason how I came to that conclusion was that I didn't start fashion until I actually started liking myself. When I had to basically be by myself for those few years that we all had to, 2020 to 22, and I was pretty much forced to look at myself in the mirror because I had no one else to look at. There was no one I was living with. There was my family lived close, but I wasn't with them all the time. When I worked, I'd be by myself also, looking in the rearview mirror at myself, because there's no traffic, there's literally nobody else for me to project or reflect off of, to really get a bead on who I am. Because usually you're around a lot of people, they have their opinions, they have their projections. You kind of form, at least for me, an identity from what it is I'm getting, the feedback. So when that feedback left, I had only me, the actual projector, not the projection. And it was either love myself or be really sad and depressed, because I'm going to be myself whether I like it or not. And I noticed when I actually started to just accept, okay, this is who I am, this is what I like doing. I love that I like doing this. I'm not going to hide it. It was all these other doors started opening up. And it wasn't that I started becoming a model, started doing this. I was really just being myself. And other people saw it as modeling. That's where the projection came back in. I wrote with that projection at this time because I like it, but I feel like it wouldn't have came about if I didn't fully just embody who I am and make it a purpose. I'm doing things on purpose, not by accident.
That kind of feeds right into one of the other things that we were talking about, with the idea of how did you come to do this? And for me, it also was other people reflecting back to me that I was doing something cool that resonated with them, that was oh, I could do this. I think it's the same. Because I had done a series of paintings on myself, on my own face, in order to try to find my own creative voice. I had a face painting business, and I was, wanting to find the me in it. And then it was just an exercise, but I posted it on Facebook, and people were like, oh, that's cool, you should do more of that. And so that was where I was like, I don't know what do more of that looks like and what that has to do with business, Yeah, but then in exploring what might that be, I discovered a few body painters that I really liked, and one of them had all this amazing writing about this concept he called soul on skin. It was Scott Frey and Madeline Greco, who have a business called Living Brush in North Carolina, and then I went to study with them a little bit. But the concept was that the painting was really about the person that it was on and inspired very much by the person. And I just thought that was so cool. So.
The difficulties I found living in my art is accepting that I define what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Yeah, it hits me when I think about that too, because even today, I think I was putting on my eyeliner and my lipstick. And at first I put the eyeliner on like very lightly, so like I knew it was there, but you might not know. But then like I forgot to do my eyelashes, so I had to come back from my car, and I was like, you know what, DaJohn, just put on the freaking lipstick liner. Just put on the lipstick liner, and like do it on purpose. It's not by accident. Like if you're gonna do it, then do it. It's acceptable because you said it is. And it's just the opposite of what we've been taught. Like even growing up in school, like someone else gives you an A+, someone else gives you this stuff, someone else gives you this, someone else says what is the criteria. So being an artist, it's almost like you're a mirror now. Like you're on the opposite side, and you're saying what's acceptable to you, and other people feel it. They resonate with that. I tell my students all the time that it really doesn't matter what you wear, like what kind of pose you do, or how you walk. It just matters like how you feel when you did it. If you did it and you're like kind of iffy, then we're gonna feel kind of iffy with you, and like it's gonna be an iffy situation. But if you do something that was like a little bit wild, and like that person did that, they rocked it. They was like, I like that.
Yeah, I totally resonate with that idea of the choosing to take your artistic license. And it sounds like for you there was a moment of like, is this mine to take or not? Is it somebody else who's going to define me, or is it going to be me that defines me? Yeah, and that's something that it's a journey. I'm still like, is this mine to take or not every time? Living in this art has definitely had a whole bunch of difficulties for me, which are great learning experiences that, translate into the rest of my life as well. One of the things that I've been really finding my way with is how much does my own creative license, my own artistic voice belong as the driving factor, and how much is it my duty to express the other person and listen to what they want and what they like, and like finding that balance in my art is every time it's like, how much of this should I take? And I'm stepping more and more into like, it is okay for me to just make it my way. And like people want my art, so I can put myself in there. And I also want there to be plenty of room for them. And so another kind of related thing is preparedness, that I torture myself a little bit with feeling like I should be more prepared. And I almost always walk in being like, oh no, I'm not sure if I'm prepared enough. But the other part is that if I don't have everything all figured out when I walk in the room, then there's room for it to be a dance. There's room for the other person to have their input and for it to be live and creative and a conversation, which it's important, that's the process.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Have you found that in your work? Or?
Yes, with everything. Whenever I try to make it too structured, I actually end up stagnating the process.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I even get to the point where it's so stagnant, I almost want to like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe it's like, almost like I just want to stop the whole thing altogether.
Yeah.
But then like, when I just like, okay, just forget it. I'm just going to go and roll with it. It's almost like the universe already knew what I needed, even though I didn't. Someone else had already got something or had a mindset or had an idea. It's like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And things just roll and they keep going. Like it just keeps getting better and snowballing.
Yeah. 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 And that said, like for me, there is value in preparedness also. Like if I'm trying to paint something realistically, if I've already done it once before, then I like can find all of the nuances of it and do a much better job and not freak out as much while I'm doing it. So yeah, there's that balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, what I seek to express with my art is compassion and beauty. I think for these pieces particularly, it's the hearing somebody's story, and it is easy for me to step into a place of caring about them and getting inside, like, what is it that they want to know, or what is it that they want other people to know, or what is it that matters to them in their life about this. So yeah, it's really been like trying to hear their story and be still with it to find out what feels most meaningful to be with them about. Sometimes I'll go for a walk in the forest after I've heard somebody's story and just take some time to like let it bubble up about what is it that really matters. People really like to be heard and seen and welcomed and feel that they are acceptable the way they are, that I see them and care about them with whatever it is that they've shared, and that I can reflect back to them the beauty of whatever they've shared. And yeah, it's such an honor to do this work.
I just want to say that was a beautiful.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's sacred work. It really is.
It is sacred work.
Yeah.
I try to express my inner child, and I try to bring everyone in that world with me and be able to be free as being themselves also. To be honest, I didn't know that fashion would even have this effect on my community or like people who I interact with. I had no idea. It was mostly for a selfish reason, just to break free out of everything that was programmed into me to be a certain way, to not be a certain way, etc. But the more I like ran across people, everyone was dealing with the same thing. Everyone's dealing with the mental gunk, the junk in your subconscious mind. And I feel like art is that way that we can all connect and unpack a lot of those preconceived notions about ourselves and really discover who we are more. And I love how you said that it's sacred, because it really is very sacred. Art is timeless. We can go to any time period. Art's what survives. Think about Shakespeare. Think about Leonardo da Vinci. Think about the pyramids. All that art survives, even more than knowledge. Knowledge is passed on, but I feel like art is almost incorruptible when it is cherished and loved. Specifically at our last show, Santa Cruz Fashion Week, everyone was so happy, and like people were crying. They were like so thankful for the opportunity. A lot of my friends who I know, that there's such adorable people. Oh my God, they're so adorable. Everyone's so adorable. They're like, oh, it's my first time getting to like be seen and like have people not judge me, like from the crowd to the backstage people. And I don't know, I didn't expect it to be that way. I really just expected it to be like a show. We all eat, we all look fabulous, then we go home. But almost everyone who does a fashion show with me, Laura included, we end up creating a bond, and we keep the ball rolling. We stick together because I don't even know why. Because I love it though. I can't say because yet, but I love it. I'm very thankful for it.
Watching people get painted and look in the mirror is such a special thing. watching them see the paint grow, and then a lot of times I'll do a photo shoot. I usually work with Debbie Pride, who's a fantastic photographer and brings so much energy and confidence boosting. And so it's so fun by the end of the whole day, evening, whatever it is. Like, it often will take a long time, and there's a level of exhaustion, but then there's also this level of like people being so empowered and whole is I think the best way I can say it. Just like so embodying their whole body and spirit and self and feeling, owning it. It's awesome. It's so lovely to see somebody really own themselves, integrate that way.
Literally letting it happen. When I get up in the morning time, or sometimes it's always the morning time. Let me stop that. When I get up, I have an idea in mind. I have a photo shoot. These are the looks. This is that. This is what I want to get from my portfolio. I want to get side looks, etc., etc. But when I'm on preparation to go to the photo shoot, I'm already a model. I'm already eating what I need to eat. I'm already moving at a certain pace to where I'm not rushing myself. I'm not trying to force things to happen. I'm kind of just letting them come through me. I don't consider myself really a creator. I consider myself someone who just allows creation to flow through me, and I'm like a vessel for it. So specifically, like when it comes to fashion, like I'm dressing myself, I just let whatever catches my energy to just like stick to me, and I try not to organize it or make it into anything just yet. I'm just gathering the pieces and letting them come to me. And same with shows. I'm just letting the models come to me. I'm letting the venue space come to me. When I walk in a fashion show, I'm letting the steps step for me. I'm not really planning, all right, when I get right there, I'm going to do a spin. Then I'm going to look that way. It's more so whatever my body wants to do, I trust it. That's the best way I can say I trust it.
So for my process for these pieces, I will start with an interview with the person that I'm going to be painting. And I like it when we don't walk in with a whole fixed idea of images. The interview starts just with talking about whatever it is they're going through. And for these pieces, it has been based on some sort of a physical struggle, whether it's just there's nothing wrong medically, but somebody is struggling with what their body is like at this age, or there has been something medical, or there's some pain they're going through, or whatever. They have a story based on some physical struggle. And yeah, so we'll have a conversation about that, just where I get to listen and learn and see what that's like. And then we'll talk about, are there images that are bubbling up for you? And I might suggest some things that feel related to me, and see, like, does that land? Does that feel like a fit? Because it's they're the ones who know what's right. It's not about me putting something on them. It's about them feeling into what feels right. And even like during the painting process, we might talk about like, oh, there's this image that we talked about. Where does that want to be on your body? Or there's this color. Where in your body feels that color? Or, it's interactive that way. And so then during the process, I'll do some sketching. And sometimes it's pretty tight sketches, and sometimes it's really like I send them to them and I think, oh my gosh, this is a hot mess. They're not going to understand what I'm talking about. But usually they do understand. And I do a lot of research. I tend to be somebody who collects tons of images on Pinterest or whatever. And, I find I curate a bunch of things that feel like they might be related so that I have them on hand so that in the moment I can use them or not use them. Yeah, and then we do the painting, and it's paint day, and it's an exciting day. Some things evolve and change during the course of the day, and some things are the way that I planned them. And then usually we do a photo shoot at the end of all of that. And that is very exciting, and I kind of will stay out of the way mostly and then get excited about some little thing I saw and be like, wait, there was that gesture. Can we go back for that one? That was so cool. So Debbie and I will get all excited together about what we see until we've got lots and lots of pictures.
It's been love. our first time encounter with the 14 Project, it was at my job. I remember you were at the very front and we said hi to each other. Like we didn't really know each other's significance, each other's lives were gonna be at that time. But it was like, hey, how you doing? And walking to the small theater, I did perform my song "Currency," which is like my first single, which people love it. I'm glad for that. But to answer the question, I just loved how one everyone was like so honest with their expression. Like even people who you might say this is probably their first time performing, they were welcomed with open arms and still clapped for, and there was no like shaming them for being beginners still. So a lot of times people don't start things because they don't want to start things. Starting things is the hardest thing when it comes to any kind of discipline. And I also loved how open you guys were when I asked about doing a fashion event here. It was very just, let's go, let's make something fun happen.
Yeah, I had that let's go experience with 418 too. I feel so supported here. It's I had worked on a project quite a few years ago with the What is Erotic. I did a live body painting at that show. So I already knew Laura from that. And then more recently, I had been taking some dance classes here and came back for something that I'd forgotten at a dance class and happened to run into Laura right when I was feeling really tender about a body painting that I had just done. And I was in that artistic, uncomfortable place of like, is this good or not? Do I like this? Did I succeed? Did I express what the person wanted expressed? Do I even like this? It was this very uncomfortable position for me. And I just happened on Laura at that moment and started talking about that, and she got it and was able to reflect back to me of just like, yes, this is work worth doing. Keep at it, you know. And we talked about doing getting to tell the stories that I would like to tell, and just right away she had this vision of like, oh yeah, let's do that, let's go, like let's make this happen for New Year's Eve. And that was just so nice to be like, wait, what? All I have to do is put out this idea and it's just gonna happen and there's a path for it. That's so cool. And then along the way, as we've had meetings to try to think about like what might this be, there was one point where I was kind of walking into a meeting going like, oh no, maybe I'm going to get pushed into doing live body painting. I don't want to do that right now. This isn't the time for that. And it was so amazing when we were all sitting around at that meeting and that got brought up. And I just was like, that's not really on the list of the things that I most want to do. That just instantly everybody in the room went, oh, then we're not doing that. And I went like, what? That is amazing. I feel supported. That's great. Yeah, I've really appreciated all of the support and the support for like, yes, we want artists and models and participants and all of your voices in this. We want to make that work for all of you guys. Thank you.
That's a really good question. You know, whenever someone asks me like, okay, what can I do to help you? I always draw a blank. I don't know right now. I feel like what supports me is trusting an idea I have and then throwing it out there and like seeing what bites and comes back. That sounds so I guess independent. I want to be more codependent, not codependent, but interdependent. But yeah, it's really me trusting my inner me what supports it.
I think what supports my art and my growth has to do with reflections, with all along it's been other people going, oh, that's cool, and so there's the like right now there's a what's the and about financially, how do I make this opportunity available for people who can't afford it. The Arts Council has been wonderful at having given me a grant this past year. I feel like they're probably all sorts of opportunities out there for that kind of thing that I haven't thought of yet. So other people saying, here's an avenue, here's how this could work. I'm hungry for that. And I love collaborations. I'm so excited to have met DaJohn. I'm excited for whatever else we're going to do. I think there's going to be more. And yeah, I think working with other people is really supportive to me, and finding that balance where it's my own creative voice, where I can be really clear about not just saying yes to everything, but saying yes to the things that really resonate with me.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest surprise to me was first meeting Brenda and finding out that our art is it's very blendable. We can do a lot of different varieties with like just different percentages. Like, oh, I can do 80 here, she can do 20, or I can do 40, she can do 60. When it comes to like what it is that we're doing, because we can do, if me and Brenda were to decide to do more shows, we can do so many different concepts, just because they're both art, they both involve people, and we're both really good at it. Yeah, I was very surprised. When Brenda showed me her art yesterday, I was like, whoa, she's good, very good.
I think, yeah, the idea of having a collaboration surprised me. I walked in thinking, I'm going to do my own thing. This is the part that I have in mind. It's going to be self-contained. And then meeting DaJohn, just instantly I was like, oh, but that would be fun. Like, oh, I could imagine this being inspiring and us working together. So, yeah.
What pieces of the stuff that you guys are talking about are feeling like super juicy for you?
What feels really juicy for me is the fact that like we agree on a lot of the same stuff when it comes to aesthetic, color, expectations, and it's very clear communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I want the world to know that if you really have a vision for something that you've been thinking about over and over again, just give it a try and see what happens. You may never know how big or how small or who you might impact by it.
I really liked hearing you talking about trusting the process and not having too much attachment ahead of time or too much. I feel like I just need to hear that over and over and over again, and it's refreshing to hear it. And it is true for me that I can listen into myself and go, oh, I am actually clear. I don't have to pretend I'm not clear. I am clear about this calls me, this doesn't call me. I want to do this, I don't want to do this. And it's, yeah, I feel like us all and the 418 being supportive of working in harmony and alignment with that stuff makes for more energy.
It does.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you to the 418 Project for making this possible for everybody, not just myself, me, Brenda. I want to thank Laura, because she's been just a forward person, just like charging. I do want to thank African Social Club, because they helped me so much. Yes, Miss Yasmina helped me so much growing and being able to be sitting here. And I want to thank Brenda and myself for taking this on and doing the steps to be the people who can be good stewardess of creation.